Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Kate Peters. This is try number two. Because of the weather, we've been having crazy problems with the internet. So, good morning. Hopefully, this will work. Please say hello if you're here. And please send us some sunshine. It's a huge request from a Leo who loves the summer. So, good morning, everybody. I'm really excited to be here with you. If this is the first time you're listening, this is Brilliance Builders, and every week I share a really important strategy, whether it's mindset or marketing, to help you grow your business. And today I've got a really big winner for you. We're talking about how to attract more ideal clients. Actually, I'm going to hone that in, actually how to get more ideal clients to say yes. And one thing I love teaching my clients is how to have better sales conversations. But I know everybody always gets so intimidated by them, they get afraid by them. And I want to just kind of share something with you that kind of hit me the other day. Based on a conversation I was having with a friend, we were kind of talking about dating and stuff, and I realized, but I got some pretty good analogies here for dating and sales conversations. So get your pen out and write them, and I'm going to share this with you. So let me get my notes out too. And please request, if you would, please share this with your community, because I feel that the more people who understand this, the more difference it will make and how people really grow their business in a much more powerful way. So the first thing I want to talk about is on a date, and this is true for sales conversations, so stick with me, you'll see what I'm talking about. Do you remember, think back to when you dated, and did you ever kind of say you did something that you really didn't do? So here's what I mean. I went out with this guy, and this was years ago, and he loved winter sports, loved skiing, especially loved snowboarding, and all he talked about was snowboarding. And of course, I thought this guy was really cute, so I'm like, okay, I want to know all about this. Now, I'm a Leo. I love beaches. I love oceans. I love laying on the beach. I love running in the ocean. I love going on boats. I do not really love snow so much. So here I am trying to impress this guy by, I went out and bought all this gear, for snowboarding. And I'll tell you something, the gear is actually pretty cool, because the jackets have a zillion pockets, and they have a zillion zippers and all sorts of stuff, and the mittens and glove have all sorts of cool things, and so that stuff's really cool. So I was kind of impressed with myself, and I even took some snowboarding lessons, and I stunk at it. My butt ended up getting so black and blue. I think it was black and blue for about a month. So, long story short, the relationship didn't last, the snowboarding didn't last. But think about it, how often you've been on a sales conversation where, the person's saying, well, like, I really need help in such and such, and because you really want the sale or you really want the client, you tell them that you do X, Y, or Z, when that's really not where your heart is. So just think about that for a minute. So that's the first one I have for you. So let me just fix this, make sure this is going over okay. Alrighty, good. So we are live, yay. So that's the first thing I want you to think about, because if you're willing to admit it, I'll bet you did some of those things too. And good morning, Michelle, how are you? So, and understand, I'm just kind of confessing to this stuff, because I think most of us did this stuff either in high school or college, or maybe in later dates. So, okay, so that's the first thing you don't want to do in a sales conversation anymore. The second thing you don't want to do is, remember going on a date and you'd start telling the person your whole life story. You shared way too much, right? You tell them this, talking about that. And truthfully, when you don't really know somebody, it kind of repels them. And sometimes, too, you over gave information. And it's the same thing. I see this as a big mistake that entrepreneurs do, is that they'll be on a strategy call with a potential client, and they start coaching the client. They start telling them exactly what they need to do. Whether they're a social media expert, whether they're a VA, whether they're a coach, whether they're whatever. They're giving all the information away, so by the time the person gets off the phone, the person doesn't need you anymore. So again, stop over giving when you don't know somebody, right? Just stop it. How do you do to stop? Like, let's time out. Stop doing that. Okay, so that's the second thing I want you to stop. The third thing is that you go on this date, and has this ever happened? I'm willing to admit it's happened to me, that you think like, oh, wow, this is amazing, and we're going to be amazing, and all this kind of stuff. And you're way farther along than the other person really is. And think about that too, because I've had this happen to a lot of my clients, that they'll tell me, oh, I had a great call with somebody, or a great meeting, a great whatever. And I'm like, well, great, did they sign up? Did they pay you? And they're like, well, no. Well, until that person actually gives you their credit card, or they give you the check, or they give you the cash, or however they pay you, right? They are not officially your client. And so it's just like in dating, where people tend to get further along than the situation actually is. People do that a lot in conversations. So until you actually get that credit card or get that check or get that physical cash, whatever it is, you do not have a client. Okay, so that's number 3. Which leads me to number 4, is that you got to ask for the sale, right? And it's the same thing back to dating. Think about, maybe, there was somebody you really wanted to go out with, but you're kind of held back because you didn't want to get rejected or this or that. And meanwhile, the person just kind of passes you by. Well, it's the same with a client too, that if you don't ask for that sale, you're not going to get it, right? I mean, that's a pretty given. I mean, I don't have ESP, but I can tell you, if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. I mean, anyone can tell you that. So that's another thing you got to work on, is learning to ask for the sale. So the next one I want to share with you, the next rule is this is a really, really good one. That when sometimes you stay with somebody longer, that you just know it isn't right, but you just really want to have a date, or you really want to be in a relationship, so you stick with somebody. It's like you really need that client, you really want that client, and even though you know that client's really not the right person, they're giving you signals, they're this, they're that. It's like, for me, if somebody said, Kate, I don't ever believe in mindset, well, that's not the right person for me. Right? But if I took that person on, that's going to cause me a lot of angst, a lot of anguish, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, all sorts of things every time I have a session with that person. So it's the same thing, just like back in dating, where you went out with someone just because you wanted to have that Friday night date or something, and you knew deep down that person was just not right for you. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Make the space for the person who is right. All right? So learn to break up with that person and say no, and learn how to do it gracefully during that initial conversation. Trust your intuition that person's not right for you. So the last one I have for you, I'm just looking at my notes. This is really, really huge. So deep breath for everyone. Everyone take a deep breath, because this one's really, really huge. Is that when the person says no to you, right? And you're crushed, right? How often has this happened? Maybe you really want to go out with someone and they don't want to go out with you anymore, right? And you're crushed. You think that's the only person in the world, right? I remember thinking that in high school and even in college. It's like, that's the only person for me, because he didn't want to go out again or whatever, and you just get crushed. You're crushed. Your self-esteem takes a hit. I get that. But when you do that in a sales conversation, when you get so crushed about thinking that it's over, I'm not good enough, all this kind of stuff, that just crushes you and your growth, right? Because that's not the only, as I said, it's not the only fish in the ocean, right? It's not the only client there is out there for you. So until you learn how to get past that and you let that crush you, that's going to put you further and further back. And I don't want that to happen to you, because you can't grow your business if you have that kind of mindset. So I've shared 6 really cool rules for you of what you need to start enforcing in your sales conversations going forward. I would love for you to share this with your community. And sales conversations, I mean, this is what I'm really focusing on this year, because it's something I actually get really giddy about teaching people with. So if you are looking for some extra support, if you're like, Kate, your ideas make sense, but I just need some help getting through that, reach out, email us, info@katebeaters.com. That's info@katebeaters.com. And let's have a conversation and see if I'm the right person to help you. And so I just want to see, are there any questions about any of this? I see Donna, you just joined. Good morning. You just joined. You got to go back and listen to it all. I shared 6 really, really great rules that are important on sales conversations. So let me just check and see if there's any other questions or comments, or of course you can always put them in the thread. And everybody, I want to wish you I'm just looking outside, still snowing, still lovely. So everybody, I want to wish you a really wonderful day, and I'd love for you, again, to share this with your community. So bye, everybody. Have a great day. Oh, I see a question before I go. Let me just see. Is that a question or is it not a question? Oh, thanks, Michelle. Yeah. I thought there were some pretty great analogies, too. I find that that people learn so much better that way, and that's my whole point of doing all this. So, Michelle, have a wonderful day. Donna, have a wonderful day. Everybody else who's watching this, have a great day. Go off and be brilliant. Bye now.